Are natural fragrances better? Hey everyone, I'm Dave with Fragrance Bros, of course your best source for everything fragrance related. Today we're doing another video in my basic series where we ask and answer all the basic questions about fragrance and cologne. Today we're asking to answer the question, what are natural fragrances and are they better? Now in today's day and age, you see a lot of hype and controversy and maybe hyperbole sometimes, maybe hatred of things that are natural, things that are organic, and that sort of thing. And the perfume industry is no exception. There are a lot of people who think that natural fragrances are better, superior. So what are natural ingredients? I think you already know what they are just in the context clues here. Natural ingredients are strictly derived from nature. They're not tampered with at all molecularly. And so they are taken from the actual natural source and then distilled down to a usable product for perfume and then put in a perfume at the perfumer's discretion. In the perfume world, there is kind of a community or genre really of fragrances that people call indie, meaning they're independent perfumers that have kind of small scale productions. And a lot of times, many of these indie perfumers usually do natural or natural only. Sometimes they'll do what's called natural isolates, which means that this is where it gets a little hairy here. It's a natural ingredient, but they isolate certain parts of that natural ingredient or they take certain parts out. To me, that's the same thing as a synthetic ingredient. What are synthetic ingredients? Synthetic ingredients are ingredients that are derived from other sources. There are many synthetics out there, and just because it's synthetic doesn't mean that it's not natural. Like aldehydes, for instance, are found a lot in snow. At the same time, aldehydes are a synthetic ingredient that you can make in a laboratory very easily. It's just a string of carbon atoms, and how many carbon atoms that has determines how that particular aldehyde smells. That's a classic synthetic ingredient that's used in many perfumes out there, including Chanel No. 5, which has a ton of aldehydes in it. So why would a perfumer use one or the other? Well, part of the reason is that a perfumer has a certain palette of ingredients that they use, like a painter has a palette of colors. So at a perfumer's disposal is a number, thousands, hundreds of thousands of ingredients to use of how they want to describe the particular fragrance that they want to describe. Naturals are good at describing certain things, but poor at describing other things, and vice versa with synthetics. So a perfumer has a mixture, most perfumers have a mixture of natural and synthetic ingredients that they use to put in a fragrance. There are many synthetics out there, and the main reason why people would want to use a synthetic over a natural is because a synthetic is kind of like an edited down molecule. With a natural ingredient, what you're getting is a mixture, a pool of ingredients, and sometimes those can be very unwieldy to use. So with a synthetic, you can take that and you can use that in just a slice and put a little piece of smell in here, and it can kind of combine with other notes to accentuate an accord or bring out other things in the perfume itself. Now, because of a lot of today's health culture surrounding GMO and natural ingredients and things like that, there's a little bit of misconception about natural ingredients and whether they're actually good for you or not. One of the misconceptions is often something that is misunderstood within the natural community itself, and that natural is good, synthetics are bad, naturals are healthy, synthetics are not. A poison is poisonous because of its toxicity. You can have a tiny amount of something that would be harmful to you, but it's perfectly healthy in small amounts. Whereas if you multiply that out to its toxic levels, then it becomes poisonous to you. For instance, this is a banana. It's pretty ripe right now, so someone needs to eat it. Bananas are very healthy. I think everyone could say this is a great fruit for everybody to eat every day. However, these are radioactive. There is a tiny amount of radioactive material in every banana, so much so that there are scientists out there who kind of measure out very low doses of radioactivity in the numbers of bananas that it has. Now, if you eat one banana or 10 bananas, there's no harm in that. But if you eat like just, like 1,000 bananas, then you're gonna start feeling the effects of that toxicity, of that radioactivity in your body, and that is what's gonna be bad for you. Just because something is natural doesn't mean that it's better. Just because something is natural doesn't mean that it's not toxic. There are many natural, organic plants out there that will kill you very quickly if you eat them. Let's also talk about cost real quick. A lot of times people associate natural with expensive and synthetic with cheap, and that's not necessarily the case either. There are many natural ingredients that are very inexpensive, like bergamot oil, and there are very many synthetic ingredients that are expensive, like Javanol, for instance, which is a synthetic form of sandalwood. And now let's talk about quality real quick. Again, natural doesn't mean that it's better. Synthetic doesn't mean that it's worse. Sometimes a criticism that people will leverage against a fragrance is that if they don't like it, it will smell synthetic. And again, the assumption is that synthetic is bad, synthetic is cheap, natural is expensive and better. And granted, there are very expensive natural ingredients and very expensive synthetic ingredients, but it depends really on the skill of the perfumer as how the quality of the fragrance actually turns out, not what the actual ingredients are. There are many people out there who really love Molecule 01 by Essentric Molecules, and all that is one synthetic ingredient. People love it. In the perfume world, there are many perfumers and houses that use the best ingredients, and there are others that use just what they can get by with. So at the end of the day, quality isn't necessarily determined by whether something is natural or synthetic. Neither is cost, really, and neither is if it's good or bad for you. So to sum everything up, natural is not necessarily better. It just depends on what you like. What about you? Let me know down in the comments. Do you like natural only? Do you like some synthetics? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Fragrance X, for sponsoring this video. Fragrance X is an online reseller that sells thousands of legitimate fragrances at a discounted cost. I love them. I've bought from them before, so I can recommend them to you. I'll have a link down below to them as well as a coupon. So that's all I have. Let me know what you think of the natural synthetic debate, I guess it would be. And if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, let me know down in the comments. You can ask me there, and I'll get to those as soon as I can. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm Dave with the Fragrance Bros. Bye. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to check out my other channel, Beast Made Reviews, where me and a friend review high quality products for men. You might like it. Go check it out.